Welcome to Dan's haunted cottage. Step inside if you dare.
Well, good morning everybody out there in YouTube land. I hope you're having a fine and fantabulous day. I know I'm having a good one here on a Sunday morning here at home. I just thought I'd put a little video up regards what's going on in the next week or two. So I think I might have told you guys, I'm sure I did in fact, that I have got a few investigations coming up. I've got a real corker of an investigation on Saturday night. In actual fact, I've got quite a bit of running around coming up this coming weekend. I'm driving to Norfolk on Saturday, well, late Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon, for prepping for an investigation in the evening there at a really haunted property. I'll give you a clue. I'll tell you actually. I won't tell you where it is. I won't tell you the name of it, but I'll tell you what it is. It's actually a church. It's considered one of the smallest churches in England. And it's got a fantastic history, be it quite a dark one. It's more to do with one of the clergy that ran it in the 19th century than it actually has anything to do with the church itself, although he did turn the church into somewhat of a den of iniquity. So, yes, I'm driving to Norfolk on Saturday morning, sort of late morning, as I say, early afternoon. I'm meeting my friend Dawn there. I think you've seen her before in an investigation, and Dawn is a great investigator, and we will be investigating this church. It's tucked out in the middle of nowhere. It's absolutely hidden. It'd be hard pressed to find it really without proper directions. Luckily enough, I've been able to. I've got to know the guy that owns it over a long period of time really, and he's been very kind enough to offer me a chance of another investigation in there. I've only been in there once, but it was very eerie, and it was true to its description. I'll just say that. In actual fact, the guy that I'm going to see on Saturday, who sort of looks after the church, and he's more or less an unofficial warden of the church. The church is no longer in practice. It's actually deconsecrated. But saying that, it's still kept as an historical building. But the guy that I'm going to see on Saturday, the guy that I was saying is the unofficial warden of it, unofficial keeper, verger of it, call him what you will, he actually got an EVP from there, where in no uncertain terms, and it was very audible, in no uncertain terms he was told what he should do, where he could go, and what that particular person would do with him if he didn't get out of the pulpit. Something along those lines. Very nasty. Probably one of the best EVPs I've ever heard, if not the best. It's absolutely spot on, fantastic. And so it's quite odd because the person or the spirit that's speaking to him is speaking to him from above, because it tells him at some point that I'm looking down on you, I can see you. So, and it's not God, even though it's a church, it's not God, because I don't think God would use language or profanities like this energy did, this spirit would. So it's definitely not God speaking to him. It's definitely a spirit, and we know. We're as sure as we can be, it's the spirit of the previous incumbent, the previous vicar, or from the 19th century. So that should be good. So we're going to do an investigation there. There's a haunted pulpit there as well, which apparently if you sit in, I have sat in it before, if you sit in it, all sorts of horrible things happen to you. So I'm going to push the envelope, as it were, and sit in that on Saturday night, as is my friend Dawn, and we'll see what happens. The place in Norfolk where it is was very embroiled in the history of the Templars, the Knights Templar, and so the church has got a lot of objet d'art, I don't know what you call it. They've got a lot of Templar significance to it. There are certain plaques there and certain ways in which the church is constructed that it points all towards the Templar. It points towards the Templars. So yeah, so that should be quite interesting. What else? Then on Saturday or early Sunday morning, when I finish that, I've then got to hop foot it across to Yorkshire, and I've booked myself a hotel in Yorkshire for a couple of nights. And what I'm doing is I'm getting to Yorkshire in the early hours of Sunday morning as well. Hopefully getting a few hours, getting some shut-eye, having a nice shower, shave, get ready, and then I'm off to see Ricky from Paranation Exploration. And we've got a few things lined up. There's an investigation that we'll be doing that night, Sunday night. And then I'm staying over till Monday, and I think Ricky might have something in the pipeline for Monday as well. So there's a strong possibility there could be about 3 investigations to come up this weekend. So I did say, didn't I, when they come in thick and fast. Now that's just the investigations from that I've got and that I'm doing with Ricky. These are the private investigations, as it were. But when my team get going, we've already got quite a few investigations in the pipeline, I believe. And when they get going, I don't know where I'm going to pull the time from. I really don't know. I think I've said this before. It's going to be one mad and hectic rush. But hey, you know what? That's what we do. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to get as many of them investigations under my belt this year, record as many of them, and bring you guys along to sort of participate in them. Now, like I've said before, I said it last year, and I want to say it again, I want to reiterate this. If you guys happen to see or hear anything that you think is significant in one of my investigations, please don't be, don't be worried or frightened to put it down in the comments, because I need your eyes and ears as much as I do my own. As I think I said before, sometimes as an investigator, you're so close to the fire that you don't actually get to see significant things that are happening. Even tiny little things can have some relevance or significance. So yeah, anything that you see or pick up on or anything that you hear, let me know. That would be wonderful. I very appreciate that very much. So that's this weekend taken care of, or next weekend I should say. On top of that, I think I might have an investigation the weekend after. Not too sure yet. There are a few things that I've got in the pipeline. As I say, I'm doing quite a bit, hopefully doing quite a bit with Ricky from Paranation Exploration this year. So there are things that we want to get down on paper and sort of, do. So I think one of the ones that we're definitely looking at would be, sorry, that's my phone there in the background. One of the ones that we're definitely looking at would be Edinburgh. I've done Edinburgh before. I've done the vaults there. I think it's the Niddry vaults. I also did Mary King's Close, I think it was. I've done Greyfriars Cemetery. No, I haven't actually. I wanted to do Greyfriars Cemetery, and I have walked around Greyfriars Cemetery at night. It wasn't a full-blown investigation. It was just with a voice recorder. But I really would like to do one in Greyfriars because, as I said, as I said once again, Edinburgh has got some fantastic history, and a lot of it was built on poverty. And you look at it now and you wouldn't think so, because the city itself is beautiful. It's cultural. It's probably, I would say it's probably one of my favourite cities. But back in the day, back in the 19th century, back in the 18th century, the place was a pit. And like most places, like most cities, it was overrun with poverty, and a lot of them went down. A lot of the people went down into down below underground, and that was where these sort of cities and townships sprung up amongst the poor. And they had gin houses and pubs and everything going on there. And once again, places of debauchery and places with that sort of history and that sort of background, that hard, tough exterior, that hard, tough shell, they generally throw up quite a bit of activity, because obviously it's something that's inground and pushed into the environment, something powerful, and of course living and starving to death and all sorts of crime and various things that have gone on there, that's going to impact itself in that environment. So yeah, so we've got that anyway. So we've got a few more things that Ricky and myself are looking at. I'm trying to think what else we've got coming up. I've got a few other little bits and bobs coming up. Well, anyway, look, all you need to know is there's going to be no shortage of videos from me this year. I can't promise I'll be getting them out every week. I can't promise I'll be getting them out every day, but I will be getting them out hopefully on a regular basis, or at least a semi-regular basis. So, yeah, I mean, one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to I don't want to dry up and just try and. I've seen other YouTubers do it. They do something on a regular basis, and it becomes the norm. It just becomes boring, and that's not what I want to do. I want to bring some stuff that's exciting, or even stuff that might not be that exciting, but it might be different. So that's what I want to bring to you: different aspects of my life, and in particular, the aspects of my paranormal life, because that's the journey that I wanted to take you guys on, and that's the journey that I'm going to take you on. Last year, unfortunately, and I'm very sorry, wasn't that great for paranormal investigations. Don't know why, but this year it's gone up a gear. In fact, this year it's gone up to top gear because there's a lot in the pipeline, and I'll be doing historical pieces as well, hopefully. Just a whole mishmash, but mainly based around the paranormal. As I say, my primary edge for my channel is paranormal footage and paranormal viewing, and that's what hopefully I'll be giving you. Again, I can't promise that anything's going to happen on my investigations, guys. That's up to the spirits, that's up to the energies that are there. All I can do is take you along. I'm certainly not going to insult your intelligence or lie to you by making stuff up or jumping to the conclusion that everything's paranormal, because A, that's selling myself short, because that's not what I've aimed to do, and B, it's undermining your intelligence, and you know what? I'm not going to do that. I have seen YouTubers that have built quite a large subscriber number on the back of that, but that's not a route I want to take. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You know, if I only ever end up with 200-300 subs, so long as they know what they're in it for, I'm happy with that. You know, I mean, these paranormal investigations can be very boring and very long and very tiresome. I still enjoy them, I still love them, but they can be very, very boring. I mean, for one, I'll give you an example. I did an investigation probably, I don't know, a year or so ago now, and it was a poltergeist investigation, and the activity was meant to be off the scale. But we went to this house, we set up our cameras, we thought, okay, what we'll do, we're there for, well, just done about 18 hours, I think it was, that we could have had it for, but we fell asleep. All of us fell asleep, turned the lights out, it was so quiet, so peaceful, nothing was happening, we just dozed off. Saying that, I can imagine ghosts jumping around us, sticking their fingers up, taking stupid selfies of us and doing all sorts of things and compromising us while we were asleep. But as soon as we woke up again, there was definitely no activity, and there wasn't any activity prior to us going to sleep. So you get what you get, unfortunately. But as long as you know that, I won't lie to you. I'll give you honest footage, and I will tell you the truth as far as I perceive it. I certainly won't be, lying to you, because let's face it, that's what it is, isn't it? It's taking people on a fantasy trip when you promise them something that's real, and that's just not fair. So that's it, guys. I'm at 12:35 now. I think that's everything. Have a great weekend, whatever's left of the rest of the weekend, and I will speak to you very, very, very soon. If I can find the off button. I'm going to have to get used to this, aren't I? Let's have a look.